Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Get ready for an adrenaline-pumping adventure that will have your heart pounding and your excitement levels off the charts. There's no time to waste, so let's dive straight into the action. We start off today's episode with this intriguing capture. In it, we see a paranormal enthusiast who was live streaming his stroll through Elms Grove Estates. As he ventured forth, he suddenly felt an eerie presence lingering behind him. You know, that unmistakable sensation of being watched. So without a second thought, he turned his camera to capture whatever might be lurking in the shadows, and what he discovered sent a shiver down his spine. There, concealed in the underbrush, was a creature, not your typical wildlife, but something otherworldly. The gentleman entertains the notion that it could be a skinwalker or even a dogman, and honestly, it's not an entirely far-fetched idea. The figure certainly has a human-like stance, but when you examine its upper half, it becomes abundantly clear that this is no ordinary human. Unless, of course, there's someone with a penchant for lurking in the bushes, indulging in a little late-night stalking. But given the circumstances, our team tends to lean toward the possibility that this man found himself in the presence of a paranormal entity. What about you? What do you think? As the days roll on, it seems the line between reality and mystery becomes ever more elusive. Let's delve into this rather perplexing situation captured by a vigilant driver. As he cruises down the road, his attention is drawn to something utterly bizarre, a burning bush. Naturally, he decides to halt and investigate, but here's where things get curious. As he steps away from the car window and moves closer to the bush, the flames seem to vanish into thin air. Poof! Just like that. Now, this is where the mystery deepens. He repeats this experiment several times, and each time the burning bush behaves as though it were an illusion. The burning, it's there, but then it's not. So what in the world could be happening here? Is it some kind of glitch in the matrix, a cleverly orchestrated hoax, or perhaps something that transcends the boundaries of human comprehension? Tell us what you think it is. The intrigue of cryptids and their elusive nature continues to captivate. Let's dive into this peculiar footage that emerged on Instagram, courtesy of the user TheMovieGuy11 back in March of this year. The story unfolds with the claim that the footage initially captured two creatures in the distance along Yellowstone Creek. The first impression was that these were perhaps two bears taking a stroll. However, upon closer scrutiny, the plot thickened. Upon careful examination, it became clear that the pace and the sheer amount of ground these creatures covered couldn't possibly match that of even the speediest bear. This observation led to the compelling belief that what had been captured was, in fact, a sighting of Bigfoot. When you take a closer look at the size and picture of these mysterious beings, the image becomes even more enigmatic. They appear huge and are seemingly moving about on 2 feet, adding to the intrigue. Once the footage hit the internet, the response was nothing short of intriguing itself. A significant portion of viewers joined the chorus, believing that what they were witnessing was indeed Bigfoot. This notion isn't too surprising, given that Yellowstone Creek is a known hotspot for Bigfoot sightings, adding an extra layer of mystery to this already puzzling encounter. Still on the legendary Bigfoot, the topic that never fails to stir the imagination, let's venture into the snow-covered woods of Russia, where a family was in for a truly unexpected sight. Members of this family were simply driving along, minding their own business, following a snowstorm. After enduring something like that, they hoped for a smooth sailing to their next location, but their attention was abruptly drawn to something truly bizarre among the trees. What they beheld was nothing short of remarkable. A strange creature, towering at about 7 to 8 feet, draped in dark fur. It was a curious amalgamation of an ape and a human, but built like a bear. Yes, you guessed it, the one and only Bigfoot. Now, this family happened to be locals, and they were quick to note that there had never been any reports or sightings of this enigmatic creature in their area. So understandably, this was quite the unexpected circus show for them. You can almost feel their excitement and trepidation by the sheer commotion in the car as they gazed upon this strange being. Do you also believe we could be dealing with a Bigfoot, or do you think that they're simply reading too much into something they shouldn't? Share your thoughts in the comments section. You don't always see an ape stare at a human like this. Perhaps it's not one you ever imagined or thought of, but there it is. What do you think is going on in the mind of this ape as it stares strangely at the reporter? Is it harboring good thoughts, or perhaps something a bit more ominous? Judging solely by its facial expression, one might indeed feel a touch of trepidation. The eyes, after all, are known to be windows to the soul, or in this case, to the thoughts within. As for its current circumstances, being taken out of its natural habitat and confined to a makeshift home, one could imagine that this fellow might harbor some rather strong opinions about the matter. The desire for freedom, perhaps, or the wish to retire from the life of the zoo. It's a poignant reminder of the complexities involved in keeping wildlife in captivity. Let's take a look at a hiking trip that truly etches itself into the annals of one's life. This particular adventure was embarked upon by a group of students, and little did they know they were in for an encounter they'd be discussing for years to come. As they journeyed through the wilderness, they happened upon a trail that led them to a part of the woods that seemed to carry an air of mystery. Why, you might ask? Well, it was there, high upon a mountain nearby, that they spotted a figure making its way downhill. Now, what made this figure truly remarkable was the fact that, despite walking on two legs, it possessed features that quite simply ruled out the possibility of it being human. For starters, it appeared rather substantial in size, definitely larger than your average person. And if you were to zoom in on the footage, you'd notice something rather peculiar, what seemed to be hair or perhaps fur covering its body. So, Bigfoot? Well, obviously. As you can well imagine, this enigmatic encounter left the students in a state of fascination and wonder. No doubt they must regale the tale of this extraordinary sighting whenever they gather, forever etching it into the folklore of their lives. Everyone has accepted it as a Bigfoot, and we have too. What about you? This image has been a mystery ever since it surfaced on the internet. At first glance, we see a dug-up hole, a rather mundane sight, but it's what lies beyond that piques our curiosity. Further down the frame, there's a peculiar blurry figure. Now, the intrigue deepens. It could be one of two things: a swift culprit fleeing the scene, hence the blurriness, or it might just be something altogether different, an enigmatic entity, if you will. The possibilities here are as varied as they are puzzling. Is it a creature making a quick escape from its excavation project, leaving behind a tantalizing blur? Or could it be the ethereal form of something beyond our earthly comprehension? You tell us. The age-old fascination with the mysteries and unexplained continues even with this footage. In this footage captured in La Blanca, we are presented with a sight that's as perplexing as it is grand. As we gaze upon the scene, we're greeted by the sight of a colossal figure ascending a mountain. Its size alone, when viewed from this distance, is enough to let you know it's no small creature. Yet, here's the twist. It's a being so peculiar and elusive that it has left even the most inquisitive minds in a state of bewilderment. Could this be the stuff of legends, the Nephilim as mentioned in ancient texts like the Bible, or might it be something unique, something that escapes the boundaries of our known world? The enigma shrouding this entity adds yet another layer to the tapestry of unexplained phenomena that continues to intrigue and challenge our understanding of the world. Don't you think so? If you've made it this far and haven't hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment, could you do that before we go on? Thank you very much. It means a lot. Moving back to today's episode. Oh, the allure of venturing into the woods when the night has fallen, a choice that's not for the faint of heart. This time, our tale takes us to a gentleman who had an unexpected encounter with a dark and mysterious figure deep within the forest. Now, let me preface this by saying that I wouldn't be out in the woods at that hour. And if I were, the moment I laid eyes on this particular figure, I'd likely be sprinting in the opposite direction. Why, you ask? Well, because this footage, my friends, is the stuff that sends shivers down your spine. In the eerie glow of the night, there it is, a creature perched behind a tree, obscured by the inky blackness of its fur. It's an image that unmistakably brings to mind the legendary Bigfoot, an enigma that continues to baffle and fascinate us. Indeed, it's a truly strange sight that's capable of upsetting anyone. Take a second look at the whole thing. Do you think we're dealing with Bigfoot or something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Now, you know there is no mystery without a Bigfoot sighting. The classic intrigue of the creature lurking amongst the trees, a scene that invariably summons thoughts of the legendary Bigfoot. Here we see a group of creatures that bear a resemblance to the enigmatic Bigfoot. But hold on, these appear decidedly smaller than the towering behemoths often associated with Bigfoot lore. Now this gives us room for speculation. Are these simply apes, perhaps a known species like chimpanzee or gorillas roaming the woods, or could there be something altogether different? Juvenile Bigfoots in the making, exploring the world and learning the ways of their elusive kind. It's a tantalizing enigma that keeps us guessing. What say you? As we delve into our next uncanny video, filmed in the dead of night, brace yourself for an unexpected twist. A luminous white light materializes out of nowhere. Upon closer scrutiny, this enigmatic apparition appears to possess legs and outstretched arms, striking a pose reminiscent of superheroes and villains taking off into the night sky. That's if you can call it that. Is this an omen, a harbinger of world-altering events? Could it be an angelic presence? And if so, why does it choose the Shroud of Darkness for its appearance? I invite you, our astute viewers, to share your speculations and insights in the comments section below. This mystery of the night awaits your discerning interpretations. A peculiar figure was recently observed appearing to traverse a metallic structure under the guidance of an illuminating source, all captured during the cover of the night. While the precise location remains shrouded in uncertainty, the setting bears a striking resemblance to a backyard encircled by thick clusters of trees. This enigmatic entity takes on a humanoid form, distinctly discernible throughout its movement. However, its head defies convention, resembling an oversized light bulb affixed to its body. In an abrupt pause, it turns its attention toward the recorder, who could be heard inquiring about the purpose of this mysterious being. Could this be yet another instance in the ever-enigmatic world of cryptids? You tell us. A day of carefree fun turned into a spine-tingling moment of fear for this group of kids. As they frolicked on a field with one of them recording the merriment, little did they know that an eerie surprise was creeping their way. Right there, on the horizon, a strange creature began to crawl towards them. The moment they caught sight of it, sheer terror gripped their heart and their joyful shouts turned into panic screams. It's a reaction that's palpable even through the screen. Now, when we zoom in on the footage, the question lingers: what in the world could that be? Skeptics have offered their 2 cents, suggesting it might be a hoax, especially because the dog in the video appears strangely unfazed by the creature. After all, dogs tend to be quite vigilant and reactive in such situations. But here lies the enigma. Was this merely a group of kids playing an elaborate prank, or did they unwittingly capture genuine footage of something truly bizarre? Tell us what you think. In the next video clip, we see a strange bundle of leaves and tree trunks that could be mistaken for a giant spider's abode. Not long after, an elk with large, somewhat coiled antlers, known to have sharp hearing capabilities, comes into view, head down, possibly feeding on its morning nourishment. Our attention is drawn to a sudden movement in the spider-like abode, where a figure seems to be glancing at the elk before swiftly disappearing out of camera sight. What could this other creature be? And how quiet is it for its presence of movements to not have riled up the elk to make a run for it? Strange. Here we have a peculiar reptilian creature emerging from the depths of a river, although calling it a traditional reptile seems a tad too simplistic. Take a closer look at this alligator-like beast and you'll notice some distinct oddities. Its tail, for instance, is exceptionally thick and its front end appears significantly shorter than the rear. This unusual gator seems to be moving horizontally, propelled by the sheer power of the robust tail. Indeed, it's a sight that's both strange and, dare I say, a tad freaky. Could this be a mere quirk of nature, a defect in an otherwise familiar species like the alligator, or might we be witnessing the emergence of an entirely new and intriguing creature, as yet undiscovered by science? The natural world never ceases to amaze us, and this is just one more piece in the grand puzzle of our planet's biodiversity. This video, shot in broad daylight, features trees in a range of colorful leaves from green to yellow and some with brownish and orange hues, the obvious fall season vibes look. While on record mode, apparently on live television, the recorder's camera captures a ghostly apparition amid the woods in motion. Speculations flood the media, suggesting it might be a ghost sighting. What do you think this is? A possible glitch in the system, maybe? I don't know, but I think that's an authentic ghost sighting right there. In this video clip, an unknown person captures a figure atop the tallest tree in a grove of lush green trees. This figure is black in appearance, and the outline of the tree is clearly female. By the looks, she's also a grown woman. She appears to be completely fearless, perched atop the tallest tree in the area. But why? And how did she even get there? Is she really human, or just a skinwalker posing as a woman who could care less about being seen by the rest of the world? Tell us what you think. In this video clip, an unidentified individual armed with a camera descends the staircase, capturing a dark figure seated in an armchair. The living room is made up of a television on its stand and a few armchairs. As the recorder moves closer, the dark shadow figure suddenly stands up, walks forward without turning, and then vanishes into thin air, revealing a dark humanoid figure resembling a female. The individual filming searches for the intruding presence, moving the camera around and exploring other parts of the house, but finds nothing. What do you think that presence was, and do you think there is a possible reason it was there? Tell us in the comments section. This video showcases a specific patch of woods filled with trees, plants, and branches, all growing at different angles. The lush greenery highlights the beauty of nature. What makes this video intriguing is the slow, deliberate movement of the camera, which suddenly slows down and focuses on one single location. It zooms in for a closer inspection, and that's when we notice a figure moving in the light. It reveals the silhouette of an ape-like creature, but what this creature is up to remains unknown. It continues to move on one spot, then starts walking away out of sight as the camera switches to zooming out. Was that Bigfoot? If not, then what else could it be? Still on ancient creatures, we have another footage that's sure to blow you away. Have you ever heard of the alligator snapping turtle? Well, if you haven't, today's your lucky day. You get to not only see one of these magnificent creatures, but actually see someone holding one in his hands. Before you tell yourself that's no feat, know that these prehistoric-looking creatures are known for their impressive size, with males typically reaching lengths of 13 to 20 inches and sometimes even larger. Aside from its length, they can weigh anywhere from 150 to 250 pounds or even more, making them one of the heaviest freshwater turtle species. If that does not impress you, know that these animals are known to have quite a powerful bite. Knowing this, it's shocking to see someone actually carrying and manhandling one. Whatever you do, please don't do what this man is doing in the footage, even if it looks very cool and, quite frankly, very manly. What do you think that creature is? It's hard to tell, isn't it? Despite living with their wildlife, the uploader of the footage is very unsure of what this creature his security cam captured. He's leaning toward the possibility of it being a skunk, and I can understand why. But then again, the unconventional characteristics of the creature make him believe he could actually be dealing with something else. What do you think? For our next Trailcam capture, we move to the Amazon, where this weird and quite frankly scary picture of a beast was captured. Behold, the horned beast of Baja. If you're unfamiliar with this cryptid, don't worry, we were too. It's quite surprising to discover that such a creature resides in the Amazon. Never did it ever cross our minds to check if the Amazon had any cryptids living in there, but there are apparently a number of them, and the creature on your screens currently is all but one of these creatures. According to the person who uploaded this image online, it's the clearest photo of the mysterious horned beast. It was taken back in 2007 by an American teen exploring the area. The young boy believed he'd seen a demon carrying a baby, but all who knew the legends of the horned beast dispelled his fears and told him it was a dangerous cryptid that roamed the area, adding that he was lucky to have escaped with his life. Basically, not many meet the horned beast of Baja and come out of the experience alive. That makes this photo all the more rare. All this man wanted to do was enjoy a good time with his girlfriend on his property in the countryside. Things initially went as expected, but they took a dark turn when he began hearing eerie and terrifying sounds. He ventured outside to investigate and noticed eerie eyes seemingly following him in the darkness. On one occasion, he spotted it on his roof, followed it from the ground, and ultimately discovered what appeared to be the carcass of another animal. First off, how did whatever that creature was drag it up there? Is it some vampire creature or a creature of the night? Some fancy it being a skinwalker, but that's something I just don't see. It reminds me of the dark creatures from the Netflix series Castlevania, only this isn't some series, this is real life. I can't see anyone saying no to the cool country breeze, the quiet life, the relaxed scenery, and all things associated with the countryside. But what about these creatures of the night that plague the place? Well, you decide. As always, we'd like to start our videos with something grand, and today's episode is no exception. Our first Trailcam capture is something big, literally. The image you see on your screen was captured by a trail camera set up in Sydney, Australia. Now, we know Australia has some big things, but, well, we didn't know primates and apes that looked like this were a part of their ecosystem. Any paranormal enthusiast who saw this will outrightly call it a Bigfoot, and it turns out that Australia has its own version of the Bigfoot called the Yowie. In case you're wondering how different this is from our usual Bigfoot, we did the research for you, and it turns out there are no real differences. They simply call it the Yowie while the rest of us call it the Bigfoot. For our skeptics out there, if Bigfoot isn't real, how come he's been seen by individuals from different cultures in different regions? How come the descriptions from each of these cultures, who may never have interacted with each other, are the same? It has to be more than a coincidence, right? Think about it. If you found that piece of footage fascinating, then this next footage will have you shaken. Have a look. This footage was captured in 2015 in an undisclosed location in Russia. The uploader of the footage refused to give further info to avoid being tracked. The footage initially seems like a typical forest exploration video, albeit with a tense atmosphere. The person behind the camera moves cautiously and fixates on a specific area. After a few seconds, we realize why. A creature suddenly comes out of hiding and starts moving away from the explorers. It initially walks in a gorilla-like knuckle walk, but swiftly switches to leaping and bounding to escape. It definitely didn't want to be seen by the explorers. Why? Maybe it's shy, but I don't think that's it. At first glance, it looks like a really large gorilla, but its subsequent movements take it out of the realm of an ordinary primate. It definitely has to be something more. Now, which creature do we know that looks like an ape, moves on 2 feet, and avoids humans at all costs? That's right, a Bigfoot. Do you think that's the creature we just saw, or are we seeing things that are not there? Share your thoughts in the comments section. We know many suggest Bigfoot is some prehistoric ape that never went extinct, but what if I told you our next trail cam footage contains something more ancient? Pay attention to the clip and tell me what you see. Do you think dinosaur or kangaroo? You know what? Watch it again. Did you see it? Now tell me, is that a kangaroo or does it look like a dinosaur? It definitely looks like a dinosaur, but how's that even possible? The truth is, well, we don't know. A trail cam enthusiast set up his trail camera in the remote part of the woods in a bid to capture some wildlife, and this is what he ended up capturing. He uploaded the footage online to try and get everyone's opinion, and all who saw it believed they were dealing with a dinosaur. Skeptics were quick to point out that dinosaurs have been extinct for millions of years, and this was most probably a small kangaroo. But do tell me, oh observant viewers of mine, does that look like a kangaroo to you? It most definitely doesn't. If we are dealing with a dinosaur, then you have to wonder where it came from and how many of these creatures are roaming the earth in the shadows. I've seen weird things, but this next capture weirded me out more than most. It's not something I'm proud to admit, but anyone who knows me knows strange dolls, well, they scare me. And there are not many dolls weirder than what I'm about to show you. In fact, take a look. Did you see those dolls? Don't they look like the way the characters in Minecraft look? You can't unsee it now, can you? Imagine moving through the dark woods with the owls hooting and insects of the night giving off their eerie music. Your only source of light is the moon as you try to look beyond the trees in front of you. And then your gaze falls on these bizarre dolls. How would you react? Personally, I don't think I would handle it well, given the fact that I'm still recovering from Chucky, believe it or not. But you have to wonder, who set up these dolls and why? What's the story behind them? Is it just for fun, or is there something more sinister at play here? Share your thoughts, because I'd really love to hear them. Now, when we saw this footage, our first question was, what is this? After watching a few more times, we still realized we didn't know what we were looking at. At first glance, the creature looks like a humanoid creature with short legs squirming in the hands of a man. That's at least until he turned it around and revealed that the creature was actually flatter and smaller than initially thought. At this point, it started looking like a sponge-like creature. But how is that even possible? Well, I don't know, but this creature was caught in one of the water bodies of China. Has anyone here encountered any creature like this? Do you know what it is? If you do, please enlighten us in the comments because we're dying to know. Literally. Think that was bizarre? Take a look at this next footage. In the footage, we see a young biker riding through what looks like the countryside, but if you look closely at the footage, something eerie unfolds in the background. A tall, slender figure moving through the grass. If you pay attention to the height of the creature in relation to the rest of the environment, then you can tell that the creature is very, very tall, maybe 8 feet or more. But what creature is it? As the footage circulated, it sent chills down the spines of those who believed they had spotted the infamous Slender Man. This footage was captured somewhere in the UK, and the uploader had set up cams to film himself on his new bike. What he didn't expect to see is the creature you can see in the background. He explained that a passing driver had alerted him to the presence of a strange humanoid creature in the area. At first, he dismissed it as something unbelievable. However, his skepticism would soon give way to something else as he reviewed the footage during the editing process. Looking at the footage, I'm really glad that he was really that far from the creature. Who knows what could have happened to him if he met the creature face to face. Still on giant or tall creatures, take a look at this next footage. Although the uploader doesn't exactly tell us where he took the footage, based on the footage alone, we can tell that this was captured in some snowy mountain or probably during winter. At first, the footage appears to be a typical woodland scene, but within seconds, a massive, furry creature comes into view in the distance. Without warning, you might be tempted to think you're dealing with a gorilla due to its size. But do gorillas walk on all twos like the creature in the footage is doing? Well, definitely not. So what's the explanation for what we are seeing? There's no logical explanation for it. If we want to thoroughly explain the footage, we will have to step into the realm of the paranormal. And that's exactly what the paranormal community did. The community believed that we were actually looking at a potential footage of Bigfoot, and I'm leaning towards that explanation and possibility. I mean, can you name any other creature of such size and movement? Precisely, it's undoubtedly Bigfoot. Have you ever wondered what a dead Bigfoot would look like? If you haven't, well, wonder no more. I have an image from the 1940s of one right here. I know the image is confusing and doesn't look like much, but believe me when I tell you, that's actually a dead Bigfoot. at least according to the one who took the picture in the 1940s. This image is supposed to be a picture of a Bigfoot lying on its back, dead. If you ask me, however, I would say it looks like it was lying on its face instead, but, well, what do I know? And beyond that, the image was apparently taken in the 1940s. This should explain the black and white nature of the image and lack of detail. But what do you think? Does it look legit, or does it sound like a fabricated tale to you? Let us know in the comments section. Would you stand by and record if you ran into a strange entity, or would you take to your heels? Well, the individual who recorded our next footage thought it would be a good idea to stand, record, and pray. Did it end well? Well, perhaps you should see for yourself. Did you see it? If you pay attention to the center of the footage, there's some sort of weird-looking creature there. At first glance, I assumed it was a skinwalker, and if you know anything about the Navajo culture, you'd agree. After all, it looked more like a skinwalker transforming. After a few seconds in the footage, however, it starts to look like whatever that thing is starts floating. Yes, floating. Now, I won't pretend to be an expert on the Navajo culture, but I didn't know skinwalkers could float. After some seconds, the individual starts praying and binding the entity. He genuinely believed it would work, but turns out whatever he was doing wasn't enough, and once he realized it, he did what any smart human being would do. He ran away. Before you laugh or judge him harshly, know that his life was flashing before his eyes. What would you have done in such a situation? In this next footage, a group of youngsters ventured into the woods in search of an adventure. As they ventured further into the woods, they stumbled upon a peculiar sight. A dried-up riverbed, but what was even more unsettling was the presence of a mysterious woman draped in a flowing white cloth. At first, she was crouched down, but later stood up with her back turned to them as she made strange movements with her head and arms, almost as if she was performing some kind of ritual. Curiosity getting the better of them, one brave soul from the group approached the enigmatic woman, perhaps to inquire about her purpose in the desolate place. But suddenly, the woman let out a bone-chilling scream which scared the group and sent them running for their lives. What started as a simple quest for adventure took an unexpected and bone-chilling turn. It seems these young explorers got far more than they bargained for in the heart of those ominous woods. The uploader of this next footage is believed to have caught and recorded a Bigfoot. The footage was taken on a mountain in Indonesia. Have a look. You can see a huge creature walking across the field under the waterfall. The creature appears to be furry and bipedal. Looking at the distance and the size, this creature must be really big for it to be seen so clearly in the woods. This ruled out any speculations of it being an ape. A part of me believes this is the real deal, but I doubt a random person would be walking through the woods in the mountains wearing a Bigfoot costume. The heat and dangers alone make it an unpleasant decision to make. But then again, humans are just full of surprises. You never know. Until a human is caught in those woods in a Bigfoot costume, I believe we have a Bigfoot sighting deep in the woods of the mountains in Indonesia. Amazing, isn't it? This human stone can be found in Ireland. The first time I saw it, I was told it was a real person who'd been turned to stone, and that made me feel sick to my stomach. I was wondering how much pain this person had gone through when their body was being mummified in the middle of the river. Was it some kind of medieval torture method? My fears were soon dispelled, and if I gave you an indication that this was real, I would want to dispel your fears as well. This is no sinister tale of agony. Instead, it's a testament to the enduring spirit of human endeavor. This eerie creation is, in fact, a sculpture, an artful representation of the relentless struggles and unwavering determination that drive individuals to conquer their ambitions. Interesting, huh? Encountering a scene like this can indeed send shivers down anyone's spine, and it's not hard to imagine a moose, those massive creatures, being involved in something scary or outright gory. But as the saying goes, appearances can be deceiving. Upon closer inspection and a bit of research, it turns out that there's no cause for alarm. What you're witnessing here is not a gory battlefield, but rather a natural and intriguing process. This moose is in the midst of shedding its velvet, a temporary skin that covers its antlers during their growth phase. Think of it as a moose's way of preparing for a regal makeover. Shedding this velvet is a crucial step for these majestic animals to welcome their new set of antlers, a true crown of nature. It's a reminder of the remarkable and often unexpected processes that unfold in the natural world, sometimes catching our attention with their dramatic flair. In the middle of the night, on a highway street, this interesting yet eerie video clip was captured. In the footage, we see a few cars drive by, as is expected on a highway. However, something unusual occurs. After the two cars pass, a creature crosses the street purposefully to avoid a collision. At first glance, one might assume this is a black or gray hairless stray dog on the run, and maybe a deer going back home as well. But let's zoom in. Nope, that is definitely not a dog or a deer. It appears to be a humanoid. While I suspect a human experiment had gone wrong, my team members were quick to point out that it could simply be a skinwalker, and I must say I agree with them. But where is it headed? Why cross the street in that form? Is there something we're missing or don't know? Please share your thoughts or insights with us if you have any. This next footage indeed showcases a fascinating and unexpected phenomenon involving a hollow tree struck by lightning. It's a reminder that nature and its interactions can often produce outcomes that defy our expectations. Have a look. In the video, a peculiar event unfolds as a thunderous noise is followed by a lightning strike that hits a tree. Typically, when a tree is struck by lightning, it can catch fire, break, and fall to the ground, burning until it turns into ashes. However, this particular tree seems to be burning from the inside, resembling a rotisserie chicken roasting to perfection. It's almost as if the thunder and lightning are acting as chefs. What makes this occurrence especially baffling is that there is no visible ash coming from the tree. Normally, when a tree burns, it leaves behind ash as it consumes the wood. However, in this case, it appears that the tree is burning internally without breaking apart or producing ash as expected. Such events serve as a reminder of the mysteries of nature and how there are phenomena that we don't fully understand. It can indeed invoke thoughts and contemplation about unusual occurrences and their possible significance. The world around us continues to surprise and astonish us with its complexity. Wouldn't you agree? This recording captures a vast expanse of land covered in tall grass where several individuals engage in a mysterious activity. 4 individuals, clad in white protective gear, are meticulously examining and working on a discovery. Meanwhile, 2 others, donned in lemon green protective attire, stand beside a stretcher, awaiting the actions of the first group. It's not known who exactly they are or what exactly they are doing, but one thing's certain. They discovered something new, and whatever it is, it's dangerous, necessitating the gear. Simultaneously, the individuals in white protective gear lift a creature from the ground, seemingly possessing a long, fish-like tail, and place it on the stretcher. The other 2 ensure that the stretcher is positioned securely, preparing for the creature's transfer. The creature's identity remains obscure as the recorder's sole attempt to record this appears too far, even as the scientists step away from the stretcher. This raises the question: how perilous is it to have direct contact with this creature? What necessitates such elaborate protective gear in this remote location? Could it be an alien, a cryptid? Has a lab experiment gone wrong? Escapees from Area 51? The mind can't help but roam in a bid to find an answer to this enchanting enigma. But what do you guys think we're dealing with here? Tell us in the comments section. Now let's shift our focus to a truly remarkable and puzzling encounter captured on film. A beachgoer stumbled upon an octopus, an ocean-dwelling creature, in a location quite distant from its natural habitat, the vast ocean itself. The mystery deepens when we ponder how this cephalopod managed to traverse such a significant expanse of land. However, it seems we have an astute and resourceful fellow in our midst. If you direct your attention to the footage, you'll notice a small hole in the sandy terrain conveniently situated just behind our eight-armed friend. This seemingly unremarkable opening serves as a direct conduit to the boundless ocean beyond, and our clever marine companion took full advantage of it. This extraordinary display serves as a testament to the intelligence and adaptability of animals, attributes that we often underestimate. The octopus gracefully slithers back into the depths of its aquatic realm, seamlessly merging the realms of land and sea. It's fascinating, don't you think? Venturing into the woods under the shroud of mysterious noises is an adventure not many would willingly embark upon. However, this group of friends proved to be brave and inquisitive souls.
I feel like that deer is following us. I can hear it in the woods.
If I were in their shoes, I might have opted for the safety and comfort of home, but these intrepid individuals chose a different path. As they traversed the forest, one of them couldn't help but notice a deer tailing them closely. You can hear the mention of this peculiar companion in the footage, a gentle reminder of the curious and unexplained events unfolding around them. But their journey took a spine-chilling turn when an eerie, screeching sound echoed from the depths of the woods.
It's a light back there. Yep.
The fear in their voices and the urgency of their footsteps was palpable as they made a hasty retreat. It raises a perplexing question. What could possibly emit such a hair-raising, otherworldly sound? It certainly wasn't a deer, and it bore no resemblance to the calls of known animals. The mystery lingers, leaving us to ponder the enigmatic nature of the forest and the secrets it guards. Do you believe in aliens? Well, I do, and with the official announcement of UFOs in the US, I believe I am vindicated. But can that explain this? In the footage, we see an alien-looking creature moving in the water. It looks like a fish, and it swims in the water like a fish, but it has a face befitting a humanoid. But despite that, we can't really call it a human now, can we? A number of individuals who saw the footage believe it's a mutated fish, but I don't think so. We have always assumed aliens could move on land, like we do as humans, but just what if there are aquatic aliens that need water to survive? What if they use robots to move on land like minions from Megamind? I know my mind goes a bit far, but have you ever thought about it? If you haven't, perhaps this piece of footage is your cue to do so. Now, this is something I would not like to see when I retrieve my Trailcam. Trailcams have captured their fair share of peculiar things, but what was found on this occasion defies both words and description. This hideous being was captured on a Trailcam. The creature appears to possess a head and body uncannily reminiscent of the bark of a tree or maybe a hair. The picture's a little blurry, so it's hard to make out its facial features. However, there seems to be what looks like a nose and two hollows on the head that resemble eyes. This creature isn't a tree, especially when compared to the natural trees in the background. So what could it be? Do you think we're looking at a possessed tree come to life or something far worse? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Whilst the last capture left a lot of room for speculation due to its blurriness, this image is crystal clear and, quite frankly, more unsettling. Here we encounter another tree, but this one is considerably scarier than the previous one. This peculiar tree seems to have a face, and it's not a friendly one. At the top, you can't help but notice a pair of enormous holes resembling eyes. Right beneath that, there's something that eerily resembles a nose, and beneath that, a gaping void that can only be described as a wide-open, terrifying mouth. What's even more spine-chilling is the layer beneath the mouth, which eerily resembles teeth. This tree appears as if it's screaming in agony, frozen in a macabre moment of anguish. But before we jump to supernatural conclusions, it's important to consider a psychological phenomenon known as pareidolia. Humans tend to perceive familiar faces in unrelated objects, like spotting shapes in the clouds. So in all likelihood, this is just a regular tree, albeit one that triggers our innate ability to find faces in the most unexpected places. Rest assured, this tree is not a creature of the night. It's just another intriguing facet of the mysterious natural world we share our planet with. Or is it? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. You thought babies were the only living things that found picking stuff and just running off a sport? Well. You thought too soon. This video clip was captured in the wilderness, and you wouldn't believe who the cinematographer is. In the middle of nowhere, this clip reveals a dusty trail with a wild cat walking towards it, and it's unknown what its plans are, as the camera was likely knocked down, but it's picked up by a wild cat. The cat seizes it and dashes off without a second glance, revealing its clear intrigue and enthusiasm. During this unexpected encounter, the camera briefly captures the view of the cat's mouth, revealing its teeth and inner buccal cavity. And I wonder if they discuss toothpaste purchases at home. Haha. Not long after, it comes to a halt, dropping the camera onto the grass and lying down to catch its breath. Has it now noticed there is nothing edible about its lucky finding, or playtime must come to an end? Either way, it drops the camera and gives us access to this interesting footage. Don't you just love nature? This footage was captured of a front porch layered with brown wood and brown leaves, having fallen probably during fall. Nothing seems to be off about this video clip until a presence is noticed walking unperturbed around the vicinity. It appears as a shade, perhaps an effect, but there's no visible physical figure. This goes on with the presence of moving angle after angle non-stop. This leaves me pondering what this presence might have been in its living days. After close inspection and cutting down the unnecessary, though possible things it could be, it's noticeable that this is definitely the ghost of a cat. Must it have been the owner's cat that met an unpleasant end? What do you think about this? In what looks like a painted white woodwork with numerous spaces, an investigator armed with a source of illumination and a camera was ready to film a gobsmacking moment. It's not clear whether he knew what to expect or not, but given the tools he had at his disposal, he most likely did. You can feel his nervousness, although he keeps moving closer to whatever he's filming to get a clearer shot. As he gets closer, whatever he's filming comes into view. You think it would run off, given the light and human approaching, but no, it stares him down and even moves its hands. Its hand is the only clue we have about its identity, and even though it's not very clear, what is that thing? What do you think it is? Is it dangerous? Why does it seem so relaxed? This is a puzzle I just can't seem to wrap my head around. Do you have any idea what this could be? Let us know in the comments section. This trail camera managed to capture something truly spectacular. Feast your eyes on this adorable ball of white fur nestled in the heart of the woods. At first glance, it's quite the puzzle to figure out what kind of animal we're looking at. So go ahead, take a moment to hazard a guess. Did you say raccoon? Well, you're on the right track, but there's a unique twist to this story. This, my dear viewers, is a rare albino raccoon. You see, albinism isn't limited to humans. It can manifest in animals as well. Much like its human counterparts, albino animals are a rare sight to behold. Just take a look at this little creature. Its pure white coat and captivating appearance are nothing short of enchanting. It's so endearing you might just want to snuggle it like a plush toy in the comfort of your bed. Nature's wonders are truly remarkable. Deep in the Indian jungle, an adventurous YouTuber and his crew embarked on a chilling expedition to explore an eerie, abandoned house. The building was dated to years ago, so the structure is very ruined and looks like a hotspot for haunting. The walls, covered in green fungus and mold, bore witness to years of neglect. Trees have even sprouted within the property. The structure was said to be owned by a family who were killed in the house, resulting in rumors of serious hauntings on the property. I'm guessing that's why this YouTube crew went to check it out. Initially, as they explored the house, nothing seemed amiss except for a lone stray cat resting by a window. However, within minutes, they spot a strange figure standing in one of the rooms. The discovery was spine-chilling, and naturally they tried to discern what exactly they were dealing with. The figure looked like a girl. It had long, black, flowing hair, yet she herself stood stiffly. Her demeanor and stance naturally spooked the team, and they ran out of the place. Now, I want this to be true, but a part of me questions the authenticity of the footage. What about you? This footage was taken in a Catholic church where the congregation was having a service, but one person noticed something strange with the statue of Jesus on the cross. Initially, everything appears tranquil. The figure of Jesus remains in its customary pose, but then something unusual happens, something that challenges the boundaries of the ordinary. The statue's eyes begin to move. Did you catch it? A subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the statue's gaze. It's a moment that defies easy explanation, leaving those who witnessed it both curious and puzzled. For those present, this event blurred the line between the natural and the supernatural, stirring questions about just what happened. Was it a paranormal occurrence, or perhaps just a quirk of lighting and perspective? In a rather unsettling discovery, a doll was stumbled upon in the depths of a river. But this wasn't just any doll, it bore an uncanny resemblance to a human. The doll's features are chillingly realistic. Its skin is eerily pale, swathed in a dark shroud. Its eyes, wide open, seem to pierce through the observer, while blood-red lips hint at something far more sinister. The image is further intensified by what appears to be blood oozing from the corner of its mouth. While most would initially mistake this for a real-life horror scene, it's indeed just a doll, albeit one that raises a myriad of questions. How did it end up in the river? Who created it, and for what purpose? The answers remain elusive, shrouding this eerie discovery in an air of mystery. What's your take on this enigmatic doll? In the next footage, you would not believe what a man captured deep in the woods. This man is reported to have heard a strange noise coming from the woods and decided to investigate. He set out with his camera and torchlight in the night to find out what was behind the strange noise. As he followed the enigmatic noises, his journey led him to a mysterious and foreboding fence adorned with a stern warning: no trespassing. Undeterred, he boldly crossed this threshold and moved closer to the source of the eerie sounds. What he witnessed sent shivers down his spine. A colossal figure lurking in the distance, a creature of gargantuan proportions that resembled the infamous Siren Head. Fear and disbelief gripped him as he concealed himself, silently observing the behemoth as it drew nearer. Only when the creature had passed was he able to make his escape. Upon sharing his harrowing footage with the world via YouTube, a cacophony of reactions erupted. Some cried hoax, while others were left in awe and terror. But what are your thoughts on this perplexing encounter? We'd really love to hear them. Let's take a break from the scary stuff. This strange sea creature was filmed from South Carolina. It looks like a fish with wings flapping in the water. Well, this is not any kind of unknown species. This is a type of sea slug that's mostly found in fresh water. Take a moment to appreciate the sheer elegance with which this sea slug glides through its underwater realm. It's a vivid reminder that the natural world is a treasure trove of wonders, where even the seemingly ordinary can reveal moments of extraordinary beauty. What do you think is responsible for building such a thing like this in a remote part of the woods? To give you context, an explorer found this structure in a woodland area that doesn't see many visitors due to how far and remote it is. Imagine walking into something like this in an area not many humans have visited. What would go through your mind? Well, the one who recorded the footage didn't know what to make of it and decided to upload it online so people could share their thoughts. Many thought a Sasquatch built that and deserted the area when it noticed humans coming. Others believe it's a hunting blind. If you're familiar with hunting blinds, it's a structure or mechanism a hunter puts up in place to avoid being detected by wild animals. They don't exactly look like this, but this could pass for a makeshift one. But even for a makeshift one, this looks a tad too complex. Now, given these two options, which do you think we're dealing with here? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. This controversial capture was sent to us by a subscriber who had seen it on one of the paranormal platforms. According to the subscriber, this has been a subject of much controversy and she wanted us to clear it up. What do you see? Do you see the forest alone, or do you see a Yeti staring at you with a look so sinister and serious it could chill your very soul? From afar, the capture looks like a set of trees or tree branches with snow on them. A second look, and it looks like there's an actual face and body of a humanoid moving from the left to the right. You have to be paying attention or very observant to see the creature in question. Do you see it too, or are we simply imagining and seeing things that aren't there? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Still on the subject of large and ape-like humanoid creatures, take a look at this next footage. At first glance, the footage looks like it's documenting the lush greenery we see. After a second or two, you start to notice that whoever the cinematographer is, he seems to be focusing on just one area. In another second or two, you see it. There's a large ape-like creature standing there. It's almost as though the creature is intelligently hiding behind the tree so it's not noticed. As earnest and sincere as its actions might be, it's clear that it needs to do better because we can certainly see it. But you have got to wonder, what humanoid creature is that? The skeptics might not like to hear it, but I really believe that's a Bigfoot. Before you call it a hoax and write it off, take a second look at it. You see it, don't you? If it wasn't a Bigfoot, why would it be hiding like that? How many creatures do you know with that level of intelligence? How many more do you know seemingly look like apes and walk like humans? Only one creature rings a bell, right? The Bigfoot. Are you familiar with shadow creatures? No? Watch this footage. Did you see the creature moving from the back to the vehicles packed near the camera? Did you see the form of the creature? Yes, it was fast, but the creature moved almost as though it was smoke without any real form. In fact, the one who uploaded it didn't notice it until he was going through the footage recorded by his camera. Perplexed by what he saw, he brought it to the online paranormal community for an explanation. Most of those who saw it didn't know what to make of it. Some thought it was a cryptid with strange powers, and others assumed it might be aliens. But if you have done this as long as we have, you start to suspect it's a shadow creature. Not much is known about these creatures, and perhaps we might have an entire episode dedicated to them in the future. But until then, my personal verdict about this creature is that it's a shadow creature. What do you also think? Do you share the same sentiment, or do you believe there's more at play here that I am missing? Kindly share your thoughts in the comment section. This next footage was taken by a lady who spotted a strange woman standing in a lake at the New Jersey State Park. The woman was dressed in all white with dark flowing hair. The ladies who spotted this strange scene were not sure if the woman was a ghost or just some weird woman. The footage, however, reminds me of the earlier footage involving the group who saw the woman by the dried river who screamed at them. I don't know what it is with these strange women standing in water bodies, but tales like these have a way of echoing through the corridors of time. This brings to mind the legend of La Llorona, the Weeping Woman. A story steeped in tragedy hails from the rich tapestry of Mexican folklore. The chilling tale speaks of a Spanish woman who, in a fit of madness, drowned her children in the river. Since that fateful day, it's said her restless spirit haunts water bodies, perpetually searching for her lost offspring. This tale hailed from Mexico and has been passed on for centuries. Do you think this is La Llorona, or someone else entirely? Share your thoughts with me in the comments section. If you've made it this far and haven't hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment, you could do that before we go on. Thank you very much, because it means a lot. Coming back to the episode. In this video clip, a somewhat congested room is shown. A four-legged chair suddenly falls to the ground. What truly captures attention in the footage is a toddler sitting in the middle of the room, seemingly engaged in conversation with itself. Initially, it appears that the toddler is the sole presence in the room, but that assumption is quickly challenged when, without any visible cause, the toddler is pushed onto its back with its hands and legs raised high. It's perplexing because there doesn't seem to be anything or anyone in the frame that could have caused this fall. It was no ordinary fall either. The boy was pushed. It must have hurt, as we can hear the child's cries. This unusual occurrence raises questions. Could there be an unseen presence in the room, perhaps a ghost or an evil spirit? Is it possible that this mysterious force is acting out of jealousy? After all, why else would a toddler suddenly be pushed by something invisible to the naked human eye? This scenario is particularly intriguing because the mother believes it's the ghost of her two other deceased babies. You see, the baby in the footage was originally part of a set of 3, but the other 2 didn't make it. The mother believes that the other 2 could be attempting to murder the living one. Bizarre, right? But what do you think? In the northern part of the Ukraine lies the Tetra River, a picturesque water body surrounded by lush green trees and scattered houses, as depicted in the video clip. Recently, reports have emerged of an unusual creature spotted in this river, sparking curiosity and intrigue among online communities. Witnesses have described it as resembling a reptile with a striking set of spiky teeth in its mouth. Fortunately, though, the footage you are watching serves as one of the first real glimpses of this mysterious creature's existence. The creature primarily appears to be gray in color, with a light yellow shade on its head area. Distinctive crack-like patterns on its skin further set it apart from other enigmatic creatures. This person recorded the video despite being clearly frightened, bravely attempting to interact with the creature by waving a fishing rod near it. During the initial attempt, the creature didn't react. However, undeterred, the recorder cautiously moves the fishing rod closer to the creature, which prompts the mysterious being to turn away and swiftly jump back into the water. This behavior leads to speculation that the creature could possibly be a mutated animal from the Chernobyl disaster. Some don't think so. They think it looks ordinary. The true identity of the creature, however, remains a mystery and has sparked a great deal of speculation and discussion online. Considering your expertise in identifying creatures, we hope one of you can help uncover its identity. Please don't disappoint. When I hear about the color green, the first thing that comes to mind are groves of trees, vegetation, algae, moss, etc. You name it all, and they will always come in different beautiful shades of green, be it naturally or artificially. When it comes to this next capture, it appears there's more happening in the footage than meets the eye. There appears to be a face in there blending perfectly with the rest of the foliage. Do you see it? You have to wonder, what's the creature and why does it blend in so well with the green? Is it some sort of cryptid, or are we dealing with something more sinister? It's hard to tell since none of us have ever had any experience with whatever creature it is. Is it some sort of cryptid, or are we simply dealing with an otherworldly creature? Kindly share your thoughts in the comments section, as we'd really love to hear them. In a remote vicinity somewhere in the woods, we notice different shades of green grass up onto the path where it breaks into an entire forest with many tall trees in broad daylight. Wonderful for a stroll. Initially, this video seems to capture the beauty of nature, but it takes an unexpected turn when we spot something in the woods. Something big, something large, and quite frankly, unusual. At first glance, one might be tempted to think we're dealing with a bear, but after a few seconds, it becomes evident that the creature is no bear. The creature has a large body frame and brown fur and appears to have its back to the recorder. While it might initially resemble an orangutan, orangutans are typically found in trees, and this creature's size seems much larger. It doesn't make a move and remains perfectly still even while the uploader of the footage continues to record. You know, I love my Bigfoots, and I'm tempted to think that this creature is yet another one. But if this is a Bigfoot, why is it out in the day? Does it not care about being seen? Or am I simply seeing a Bigfoot because, well, I love the creature so much? Perhaps I could use a second opinion. What do you see? This video clip was taken in the woods with trees on the far ends of the vicinity. In the clip, we see two creatures lying amid the woods looking like they've passed out. The footage reveals a long white snake and a humanoid figure with a pure white complexion and deformed legs, giving an otherworldly appearance. It appears as though these creatures have come from another world, suggesting the possibility of interdimensional collisions bringing their inhabitants to Earth. While many of us held on to this ideology, quite a number of individuals in the paranormal community who saw the footage believe we're dealing with an albino Slender Man, a cursed man and his companion who was turned into a pet snake. They believe this duo was discovered and defeated by explorers. While this makes for a more intriguing and interesting tale, I'm leaning much more towards this being an encounter with either interdimensional or extraterrestrial beings. What about you? If you've made it this far and haven't hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment, could you do that before we go on? Thanks very much, it means a lot. Coming back to the episode, the woods, dense with tall trees and lush green leaves, bathed in sunlight on a hot afternoon. A deeper shade of green can be seen in the distance. Looking closely between the trees, we notice the presence of a dark and tall figure with an eerie appearance. The creature has a dark, dog-like face and it's walking on two legs. It brings to mind the legendary Dogman, which only a few have had the opportunity to meet. For those who don't know, the Dogman is a humanoid figure with a dog-like face. It doesn't in any way behave like your everyday cute pups and wouldn't hesitate to take you out if it had to. This makes me wonder if this capture was taken near human settlements. If it was, then their lives might just be at stake. In this video clip, an unknown person behind a red, black and white jet ski captures a life-changing moment. A sudden explosion on a waterborne structure while dangling waist down in the water. The explosion doesn't just impact one part of the structure, it spreads across both the water and the structure itself, creating a mix of colors from orange to red, accompanied by smoke. This makes the recorder jump abruptly in search of cover in the water. Perhaps he didn't jump and was simply thrown off by the sheer force of the explosion. It's beyond frightening. What do you think could have caused this unfortunate event? Does anyone know where it happened? Were there losses of lives, including marine life? Please educate us in the comments section. And with that, we conclude today's episode. If you have any Trailcam footage you'd like the rest of the world to see, please send it over to us at classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. Don't be shy and don't think it's crazy. We'll help you make sense of even the most bizarre of captures. What's more, we'd give you the credit unless you want to remain anonymous. What are you waiting for? Send it in. And whatever you do, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as it helps us out a ton. See you in the next one.